All right, we're on. Hey, everybody! Welcome to Destiny Has No Secrets, a Legend of the Five Rings podcast where we talk about everything in Rakugan and everything L5R. Doug, and online known as Spoonfunk. This is Ginger
Ginger
Jesus.
Jesus.
Yeah, all right.
Howdy, folks.
We will get this down one day. One day.
Yes.
Today we're going over everything Crane. We're talking about the Crane previews, in which we had some cards, mechanics spoiled, and we'll also be going on for our primary topic. We'll be talking to new players on why they would want to choose Crane and what they might have to look forward to in choosing Crane. But first, we have a couple of news announcements for the podcast. Last week we announced that there was an email we asked people to email in so we can read their email responses back. We've been talking and we've decided to kind of do some segments online as a part of additional content for our YouTube channel. So for the next however long we're gonna until we get enough emails or until the month ends or whatever. We're going to be asking people to write in what their favorite clan is, or what clan they're looking forward to, and why they're looking forward to it, and why they like it if they're an old player. So,
Yep.
um,
Specifically, what I'm looking for is I want people to write me an email that sells your clan to new players.
that's a great way to put it, actually. Yeah,
Yeah.
excellent.
I I will go through, or Doug will go through, or we'll go through together most likely, and we'll pick our favorite email for each clan and make a short segment using that email as a template. And by template, I mean we're probably going to do it verbatim. So, if you wish to have your thoughts out there, please send us an email. We will do the work, and we will credit you in any way you want.
All right, awesome, awesome. Yeah, like I think
Except
it's
except except monetarily.
yeah, well, yeah. Yeah,
That's
hey,
never going to happen.
you could try to get cash out of me. Good luck.
Yeah.
So other than that, if you want to email us, contact us. We have our SoundCloud up for the second week going, and we post the audio content. And you can also email us and contact us. And also be sure to like and subscribe if this is your first time viewing in to either our SoundCloud or our YouTube. And you can find the contacts down below in the information, including on SoundCloud. We have our contact information, and we also have a Discord channel where each week we discuss a topic or try to discuss a topic with two people right now. But hey, it'll get better. Um, Other than that, I think we should. You want to move on to our first topic? You feel good? You got anything you want to say?
Let's move on. I've already said. Oh, there is one thing I need to say. Something I've been thinking about now since the game died last year, and when I found out they're going to be bringing it out again, I feel that I personally have grown as a person and as a player, and my personality has changed. I'm not the same person I was anymore, and I can no longer call myself a crab player.
Oh no.
I still love the crab. They're still dear to my heart. They saw me through some very dark times. I saw them go through some very dark times, but as I am now and the person I am now, I have to officially declare myself as a scorpion. And crab will just be my second favorite from now on. I'm sorry.
So you
Sorry to all my crab brethren. I am abandoning you. Good luck on the wall.
like a very much like a scorpion would. But hey, you're actually deciding to do your duty now. Like that's the thing. I mean, when the crab wall falls again, because everybody knows the crab wall is just gonna fall again because that's what
Don't
happens.
don't say that again. Don't say that.
Oh, it's too soon. Too soon.
Too soon.
Too soon.
Too soon.
Okay.
It's too real. It's too real.
Well, I was gonna say
All
you
right.
decided to try to start winning games, but you're picking Scorpion, so I don't know,
I
but
won a lot of games with the crab.
yeah, that's true. That's true. I've seen some pretty fierce crab decks, to be honest with you, but
Yeah.
all right. So, um, moving on to our first topic. This week we are discussing going over the Crane previews. We were given a big article with some pretty much a good majority, I think, at this point of the card base, and they were discussing for Crane, and they were discussing the three primary sort of mechanic focuses, which are sort of one is revolving around honor, another around dueling, and another one around their sort of station, their position in the society, right?
Yeah.
And so starting with the honor mechanic, they give us a couple cards. Most notably, Wave the Crane, which is their philosophy card, kind of their linchpin card here. And just to go over that real quick, what that is, it's a zero cost event. Philosophy, action, choose a Crane character you control, honor that character. And this is tying in with this entire theme that they're kind of setting up, where the Crane want to honor their people. So, what did you think about this entire section, this kind of theme of honoring guys, Ginger?
So it's Crane. Crane honor their guys. They've always honored their guys. They've always been big on honor. This is. I did not feel like I was surprised in any way. I was saying earlier that if you gave me all these cards and there was no symbols on it, there was no colors on it, if there was nothing on it to denote where it came from, I would look at these cards and go, these are going in a Crane deck.
Yeah.
There's no way around it.
Yeah.
They did a good job of giving us Crane cards.
Mm-hmm.
I think they started with the Crane. The Crane is probably the easiest one to just put out there and say, this is obviously Crane.
Well, I think that's also kind of the testament to the honor mechanic that they're giving out here. Is that it's a very passive mechanic, right? That kind of triggers. So they have this card, which is going to be a staple in Crane decks for sure, for at least a year or two, if not for the duration of the game. And they'll be able to play that, honor their guys, which will contribute a military or political bonus, because when you honor a guy, they get their glory attribute added to their military skill or political skill, right? And it also allows them, when that character is discarded, to gain an honor. So there's this kind of like sort of a gateway drug mechanic, I would say. It's very easy to get into playing them because they kind of play themselves, right? Just by playing this one card, in the most obvious way, and
Yeah.
doing what the Crane do, then you kind of set up this board position, where you're
Well,
advancing win condition, as it were.
what they've done is they've taken an honor victory, a political victory,
Mm-hmm.
and they've taken it out of the realms of the experienced player's hands. A new player can build a Crane deck and build an honor deck now, based on the cards that I've seen and the way I've seen them worked.
Mm-hmm.
It no longer looks like quote unquote the advanced setting of the game.
Yeah, yeah. So it's more accessible, I think, is what you want to say, because I think there will be a
Yeah.
complexity to it,
Oh, no
especially
doubt.
when you're playing
There has
against.
to be.
Yeah, especially when you're like playing against like somebody like Scorpion, for instance, who's trying to actively and has card effects that actively counter yours, right? So,
Yeah,
um,
I'm really looking forward to a good honor versus dishonor game with this new card sets. I
that's yeah. Go ahead.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm. That's the one big, I think, more than any other question in as far as mechanically oriented with the L5R that I had, was how they're going to resolve honor versus dishonor. Because as you know, right, honor versus dishonor in the old game always ended up in a stalemate, right? Almost, unless one player just got God draw and the other one got nothing, right? I remember going to.
The
Go ahead.
I used to play Yasuki Dishonor
Hmm.
back in Emperor, and there was a gentleman up in Fairbanks, Alaska, where I was living, who played Crane Honor.
Yeah.
And I hope one day he hears this episode, because it was the greatest game I've ever played. It lasted 3 hours.
Oh my God.
3 hours until he finally etched that last point of honor on me.
It was
And
glorious.
it was
It
a
glorious.
glorious, crazy game. I think we both pretty much decked out. It was
Yeah.
a terrible, terrible, terrible. Just I mean terrible in the worst possible way.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it took forever. But the game was intense. It was emotional. And at the end of it, we both shook hands and walked away as friends and played again next week with just different decks.
Yeah, like there was something to be said about that, right? I definitely had a game where I was playing a passive defensive dishonor in the old game, and
Mhm.
a scorpion, right? And the my opponent was playing an honor runner, right, with a military bent. So there was a lot of counterplaying going back and forth. But one thing that I always stuck in my mind was whenever I went to tournaments, right, and I would just tell this to new players, right, when they came into the game, like, look, if you're taking an honor deck to a tournament, bring a die 10 with you because at the end of that round you're gonna roll a die. Yeah,
Mhm.
that's the way tie breaks were solved in tournaments, or at least when I was going actively this last time around. So I'm really glad that they actually made this honor mechanic sort of a passive thing, but also conditional in a lot of ways, right? So we see a lot of we have a card here that actively let's see here, let me pull it out, Kikita Asami, right? Who actively takes honor from you. She's a 3 fate cost unique Kikita Asami, 1 military strength, 3 political strength, 2 glory. She has a courtier trait, and she has an action that says, while the courtier is performing a political conflict, if you count more than your current political skill and the conflict of your opponent, take 1 honor from your opponent. Right? So this is like a conditional effect. They have to be engaging with you, interacting with you, and not just in a defensive way, but strictly in a political conflict. So I really have the feeling that they're going to go out and want to get those engage with you and interact with you a little bit more than the old one was, and they'll be able to, by doing that, have gain momentum. Where in the old rule set you weren't able to. You would just stalemate out because I'd gain honor, you lose honor. I'd gain honor, you lose honor. Somebody will win.
Well, it used to be that this is the way we described it, at least,
Mm-hmm.
especially in those long political games, where your fate phase
Mm-hmm.
was your battle phase for political decks, and now that they've condensed all the combat into one phase, now it's no longer core tier fighting against. It's no longer my half of the board fighting against your half of the board. I'm not going after individual characters anymore. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
going after you. I am sending my courtiers in a fashion as a courtier after your province in the
Mm-hmm.
battle section of the game. Honor is no longer trying to how do I put this?
Solitaire.
Honor is now. Well, I mean, there's the solitaire I think a solitaire deck is going to be harder because you're forced to interact with your opponent if you want the honor. You can't just interact with yourself,
Mm-hmm.
which I'm a big fan of because now my opponent must deal with me as opposed to just ignoring me as he did his honor run.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm trying to put my thought here into word, and unfortunately, I'm having a hard time doing that. Long day at work. Go figure.
Yeah.
Um, uh, so what you're looking at now, which I'm a big fan of, is honor is no longer the point of the political game.
Yeah.
The point of the political game is still the destruction of province, just like a military deck.
Yeah.
Honor is now the tool as opposed to the point.
That's true. Yeah, absolutely. There's going to be card effects that enable buffs on your guys. Honoring itself is a buff. Like I just, like I was explaining, it gives you a bonus to your political skill and military skill, right?
Yeah.
So like honoring allows you to gain momentum and put advantage over your opponents because you are able to create this condition in which other effects are enabled,
Hmm.
that you can kill personalities, bow them, whatever. If your guys are
Yeah.
honored, and there's other cards that they've previewed in this article that make that more uh, relevant, right? So, for instance, Asahina Storyteller, right? It's a 4 fate cost, 2 military skill, 4 political skill, courtier Shikenja air trait, and he has 2 glory skill. Sincerity keyword, which has the ability when this character leaves play, draw 1 card, and his ability is each honored Crane character you control gains sincerity. So just by having honor, you're enabling this card advantage for yourself. So every time a personality leaves play, if I'm playing Phoenix and I'm using those fire actions to remove your guys or whatever they may get, right?
Yeah.
Um, then you're drawing
Which of
cards.
course,
Hmm.
and that negates the lack of cards you're going to have in your hand because of the honor wheel.
Yeah, it's yeah, because you're not drawing as many cards. It gives you advantage. So do you want to give a Crane advantage? Right, by for forward, do you want to give them honor by removing a guy? Do you want to give them a card because they're removing a guy? Because they're going to play the honor their guy, and they're getting this force pump, and they're going to be able to play also these other cards that have been spoiled for us. That allow them to like remove people and do things, right? Um, how do you feel about how it's like blended in with the entire theme of the Crane, like as far as the being honorable? Do you think that fits appropriately, like the
Oh
way?
yeah, they did a really good. They got a really good job of designing these cards for the theme of the clan.
Hmm.
I'm actually really impressed with what they did.
Hmm.
Um, a couple gripes here and there, but nothing I could really say. No, nothing specific. Just a few little odds and ends where I don't like the way. Nothing specific I could name. Generally
Yeah,
speaking, I'm really, really happy with it. I'm probably never going to play it.
yeah, yeah.
I can't play the Crane.
Hmm.
I have self-respect.
Yeah, well.
Yeah. Um, but
I.
I will say, looking at the way the themes are working out,
Hmm.
in my head I could build a solitaire deck.
You think? You think that that's the solitaire is
I
still
you
gonna be a
know
thing?
I could, because you bring the guys out, you use your own cards to honor them, and
Hmm.
as those cards leave play at the end of the turn, because you're not putting any extra fate tokens on them, because you only want them in play to honor them and have them go away,
Yeah.
gaining their honor, and then you got just a couple duelists in play to protect your provinces. People attack, the
Hmm.
duelist goes out, the duelist does the duel action where everybody goes home but the two people in the duel, and then even if the duelist loses, your
Hmm.
opponent doesn't have enough force to take the province anymore because of other card effects in play.
Hmm.
Now you've got other cards in your deck that we've seen, the final stand, stuff like that. They're very good at, from the cards I've seen, defending their province with very few people, allowing you to take your other personalities, honor them, shuffle them out of play as quickly as possible, gain that honor.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you could do solitaire. You could still do solitaire. Now that I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, you're flooding the board with basically guys, cheap bodies to have them just be removed at the end of the
Yeah,
turn to gain honor, right?
yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting to say. Like, I wonder, like how, because obviously we haven't seen the entire card pool yet. Whether or not that actually will be, because it seems like the most. Now that you mention it, like it seems like the most obvious way to gain that the benefit of that honor, that one honor you're gaining from the honored personality. So. I wonder if like how that will shake out in the end, whether or not that
What
will
is it?
be a
20,
thing.
20 now to win honor? An honor
25.
victory?
25.
25?
Yeah. And you win instantly.
25?
You win.
25 doesn't sound that hard to get to with that strategy.
Well, my counter to that is that there's game mechanics. There's in the core mechanics. There's a way to cause honor loss, and not only that, but dishonor people. So there's
Yeah,
agency
but
to counter their tactics there that you have without before you add in any extra card effects like meta cards that you may be teching against Crane matchups or that sort of thing, right?
yeah, but just like before with the honor versus dishonor, if you were
Hmm.
doing that, then your opponent needs to have a dishonor deck. You might have a couple things here and there in your average deck. Some people might slip a couple dishonor cards in there just to
Hmm.
keep their deck balanced. But if a Crane player really sits down and builds themselves an honor solitaire deck in the new system, you're going to need a dedicated dishonor deck to stop them,
Or you're gonna need to swing into them hard with military,
or swing in
or
hard with military.
not military, but like
But
be aggressive. Like
or,
is what I'm saying.
be incredibly aggressive. But even then, if I'm reading a lot of those duelist cards I saw right, it doesn't matter. I can just
Well, speaking of dueling, right? Let's move on to their next theme because we've
Yeah.
which is the dueling theme, the one-on-one, and they give us two primary cards here. Now, before we go on, to explain for people who may not know that the way dueling works in the game mechanics. So, you initiate a duel with a card effect, right? Like they've given us here, and you then take your honor dial and you make a bid between 1 and 5, and you take the result of that honor bid, or that bid that you make, and the person who bid higher, just like in the draw phase, gives the difference to the loser, or not to the loser, but the person who bid lower. So if I were to bid 2 and Ginger were to bid 4, then he would pay me 2 honor, right? And then you take the result from the honor wheel, or the honor bid, right? So he bid 4, and you would add it to his character's glory attribute, and I would do the same for mine. So, and
Mhm.
they, if we were both using Kakita Kaizen here, who has 2 glory, um, you bid 4, you would end up with a result of 6, and I would end up with a result of 4, and then the effect resolves itself, for the winner, and the loser suffers the consequences. So, but they give us 2 cards here, which, like, there's a lot of words on the duelist training, but so there's 2 cards: Kakita Kaizen, which is a personality. He's a 3 fate cost, 3 military, 2 political, 2 glory. He's Bushi, duelist, Kenshinzen traits, and his action is when a character, while this character is participating in a conflict, your opponents must choose a participating character he or she controls, challenge that character to a military challenge or military duel. If this character wins, move each character not involved in the duel home. If it loses, send it home.
Yeah.
So, and then the duelist training essentially is a military duel. It's a 1 fate cost attachment that gives the attached character an action to do a military duel where the loser is bowed. But the winning the instead of giving honor to the instead of giving honor, you discard cards from your hands. Right. So it's kind of a nod to the old dueling mechanic there.
Yeah.
Um, but notably,
Which,
it's also one of mhm.
as I said earlier, allows you to defend with very few bushi.
Yeah. But duelist training is 1 influence, right? It's so it can
Yeah.
be ported in other clans. So I think you're going to see dueling quite a bit. I mean, undisputably, Crane will probably be the best, if not equal to Dragon for dueling, right? Because they both have those strong themes with dueling. But
Yeah.
um, I don't.
I want to see a scorpion duelist. Just saying, I want to see a
Yeah,
scorpion duelist.
I don't think they will be restricted to the only clans, and even if they are, with this being 1 influence, and depending on how the deck building rules shake out, this could be portable into any other clan,
Yeah.
potentially. So, uh, I think you're right. They'll be incredibly strong at defending with a low number of people. Uh, but they'll also have, because they're an honor-based clan, they'll have to draw less, right? Because they want to bid lower during the honor draw. And none of these duels we've seen so far have really given us a kill action. I mean, they both bow losers, and no, they both, one sends it home, and the other one bows the loser. So, and they're potentially costing honor, depending on how the board state is. Because I
Yeah.
could easily get up to like 7 force with a lion berserker. The lion, was it lion berserker? The 3,
I
yeah,
all I saw was the one lion card they spoiled earlier today. But
yeah,
as you said to me before we got on here, don't get you started on lion today, or we'll
yeah,
change
yeah,
the subject and the title.
yeah. But
So there was no
yeah.
lion card spoiled today. Back to the crane.
Back to the crane. Uh, I think yeah, dueling can be broken though. Like I think if they don't balance it right, I will share in your critique of dueling, right? In the crane, is that I think it's a mechanic they gotta be very careful with,
Hmm.
because it's never been easy to balance, and I don't think that's any less true in this game.
Well, thematically, I've never understood dueling in a battle scenario. I
Oh, really?
guess in a highly honor regimented society, other soldiers would stand aside
Hmm.
and allow a duel of heroes to happen. So I can okay now I guess I can see it, but as I played the old L5R, dueling was either crazy broken or never worth your time,
Yeah.
and the difference was like minute.
Yeah.
Because I've seen dueling like when I've seen decks built to duel that couldn't win a game
Hmm.
because yeah they take out a personality, but you just wasted your entire fate hand to do it.
Yeah. And this one, like, you have to give him honor, right? If you potentially, because I think it's going to be a little bit more closer.
Yeah.
At its face, it seems like people are going to be a little bit more closer when trying to compare um, their, you know,
I mean,
their results or whatever like that. So I mean, it
it's not as broken
depends.
as the days of double chi though.
Yeah.
Oh god.
Old player
Woo!
for people who don't run around, basically double chi was you had double the result.
Yeah.
And then they made it to where it's double the, when you try to go to make the focus, you play the card face down, it's double that at some point. And it was just,
It was
it was never,
it was
it was,
crazy.
yeah.
It was crazy broken in the beginning.
End of story, dueling has always been broken or sucked completely. It's
Yeah.
just,
Yeah.
it's never been, and I hope that this isn't the same way. It doesn't seem the same way, but I could see how it can kind of get out of hand a little bit if they don't uh, cost and have equivalent effects or in costs to each of these things.
I'm really hoping they play tested the dueling schematic
Yeah.
ad nauseum
Oh, I don't.
because
Yeah, I don't doubt that
if
they
an
did, but.
if you're building an entire clan's military theme
Mhm.
on one mechanic, you better do it right.
Yeah, I think they did it here. I mean, by what they've shown us here is pretty reasonable. It's pretty good. I like the design of the
Yeah.
both. I like the duelist training more than I like Kakita Kaizen.
Yeah.
Because Kakita Kaizen
We're
can be wiped out and this is portable, like the duelist training is. So,
yeah. We're not gonna know till the power gamers get a hold of it though.
well, yeah, once hits a competitive environment, we're gonna see people are gonna figure out. It'll probably take a couple months, but people will figure out the most optimal way to make dueling decks completely ridiculous.
Hmm.
So, moving on to the third theme they talk about here, which is beyond reproach. So, the idea here is that they're getting card effects that allow them to negate things. So, they give us some. Well, let's talk about the most contentious card here that I've heard so far this week. It's Voice of Honor. It's zero fake cost event. Has interrupt. So, I think this is a new action type that we haven't seen. Um,
Hmm.
it says when effects of an event would initiate, if you control more honored characters than your opponent, cancel those effects, and it's 2 influence. So, which is worth mentioning. So, there's a lot of controversy over this card already from people who have not played the LCG, their other LCGs. Um, it's a counterspell. It's cancel.
I I did not see that card before, and now that you've said that card out loud, I hate that card because it's perfect for the Crane.
It's a counterspell.
I mean, it's not even that. It's the Crane clan have always said, like the entire Crane, like right, the entire Crane power structure is I'm
Hmm.
right because I'm right.
Yeah, and this
I
is like.
invented culture,
Mhm.
so I can change the rules whenever I want. I invented honor, so I can change those rules whenever I want.
Mhm.
I mean, if you ever played the roleplay game,
Oh
if
yeah.
your character got 5 honor, you could do anything you wanted because you were obviously honorable. Therefore, what you were doing couldn't possibly be dishonorable. It said so in the book.
They are the no
I mean,
faction. They are the no faction. Like, no, we're better
yeah.
than you. You can't. Sorry. Come back next
It's
time.
like, everybody's got that friend who knows everything, and no matter how much you argue with him, he's always right, simply because he's right. And that's what the Crane are like with culture. They're like, no, we invented this. It's ours. You can't have it back. I never gave it to you. It's still mine. I say that what I'm doing now is culturally appropriate.
Yeah.
You can't stop me.
hmm
And here's a card to prove it.
I have a couple. I have a couple comments about the voice of honor because I agree with you. I think it's absolutely suited for Crane, and it's not going to be nearly as big of an issue. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's counterspell. It's a strong card, but I think it
It's
absolutely
also
just.
two fate.
No, it's zero fate. It costs
Oh, zero.
zero.
I thought you said two.
No,
My apologies.
costs zero. Yep.
Oh,
It's
okay.
it's for free. They get to say no. But they're here. Follow. Let's just listen to me. This is why I think it's a good effect to have in Crane. One, they're not drawing nearly as many cards. So you're gonna have crab players who are just gonna go, oh, you have this thing. It's I'm two provinces away from being able to win, or one province. I'm just gonna draw 5 cards and fuck your face. That's right.
Yeah.
Playing cards now, you can't do anything, right? So having that check there where they actually have to think about which card they play first instead of just play the most powerful cards out of their hand, right, is necessary. Two, it's only if you have more honored characters. Now, while other factions will have probably effects that honor, like Phoenix or a Dragon, right, where have effects that honor their people, Lion will be able to. Crane will be the masters of it, right? Because we've already seen Wave the Crane. Not only that, they have a personality that says when you play Wave the Crane or honor when you honor that character, you honor another character. So they're
Yeah.
more likely to have more honored characters, right? It's not going to be easily portable necessarily into other factions. Two, it's a condition, it's a requirement, and you have Scorpion and other factions who just don't give a shit about that requirement. They're gonna say, no, well, fuck your face. I'm dishonoring you dudes, right? Oh, look at
Yeah.
me, I'm a Scorpion. Hey, look at that. All you guys are not honorable, So I think it's actually a good effect because it protects the the faction that won't have card draw, right? Because they'll have to play a card effect to get it because they won't want to
Oh,
naturally draw cards with the honor dial, right?
that card is perfect for the Crane. I have no
Mhm.
actual gripe with that card's existence.
Yeah.
I hate that card because I'm selfish.
No, you can hate it. Go ahead, hate it. I'm gonna
I
hate playing
I
against it too.
I I hate this card for pure personality, selfish reasons. No, whoever thought of this card is just got right inside the
As
head of the Crane
as
clan.
soon as there's a person in our play group, right, that I thought of as soon as, and you know who I'm talking about, but like,
Yeah.
as soon as I saw this card, I was like, oh, he's gonna piss himself. He's with glee. And then every time I was gonna sit down playing against him, he's gonna be like, aha, I'm gonna go try to play this card. He's like, no. And I'm like, oh fuck that, yeah, god damn it. All right. Anyway, so yeah, that's Voice of Honor, but they also have other effects.
I I really hope when the Crab Clan cards come out, there's a Crab Clan card that says if you have Crab Clan personalities and your opponent does something you don't like, you have the right to punch them in the face.
I don't. I
Just
think.
right there in the middle of the gaming store.
I think that would probably.
Oh!
I think that would probably be one of the few reasons why I might quit L5R. If they start putting cards that like say incite violence, okay.
The
Um,
Crab Clan, like every clan's gonna get a negate card, and the Crab Clan negate card is.
I actually think Crab will have other effects that say no, and honestly, it makes me question who's going to have other types of hate cards, whether or not they're going to be, counterspell, like an actual counterspell, like dispel magic or whatever type effect.
Mhm.
What if because Phoenix would probably get that, I would imagine. But like if there's going to be other types of cancellation effects in other factions that are conditional. If Scorpion's going to get one,
Mhm.
that's a good question, or at least a question that I had. Um, so going above question. Speaking of questions, hey, segue. So
Mhm.
above question is a one fate cost attachment. It provides no military or political bonus. It's a condition. It says attached character cannot be chosen as a target of an opponent's event. So this is a basically an attachment that you place on a character to make them immune to events. So again, that sort of putting them above everybody else. Um,
Essentially, that they just have their honor is so high you can't
yeah, you can't.
rebuke them.
You can't. Yeah, it's just like no, you can't touch me. Sorry, can't touch this.
Yeah.
My bad dancing here on camera.
Hmm. I can't see you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Your camera is not appearing on my wonderfully expensive
Then you get to imagine.
phone.
you get to be
very,
like our millions. Good.
Yeah. This is a very cheap phone.
Yeah. Well, you get to be like the millions of listeners out there who are listening to our audio content right now, and imagine me dancing. So there you go.
And if you're one of those people, I took the time to wear a tie.
Yeah. This
Just saying.
above question. Yeah. Above question. You're looking pretty snappy, man. So like above question, and like makes me also wonder who's gonna get attachment hate, right? Because there's got to be attachment hate somewhere in this game, something that just kills attachments. That makes me wonder that. Again, I like it for the same reason. I think that having immunity, it's an attachment, so it can be removed potentially if they have a card effect like that. They also have two other personalities that have similar things. You know, Gust of Honor, a forfeit cost, 1 military skill, 4 political skill. Courtier, 1 glory trait. Says while this character is participating in conflict, opponents cannot play events.
Yeah, I just built the greatest solitaire deck in my head.
Yeah, I don't know. Like
you can't touch me politically. My duelists make it so you can't mess with me militarily, and then I'm just shuffling out my guys for the honor.
He started this episode so happy.
I know, I did, and now I'm a broken, sad shell of a man.
It's okay. You get to be Scorpion player like in the Scorpion previews. I'm sure you'll get your revenge.
To be fair, I've been a broken, sad shell of a man since I got married 6 months ago.
We probably should have clarified at the beginning of the segment that we're getting all our clan bias out now for the next topic, because we actually want to make people think that, convince people why they should play the Crane clan, or at least new players coming into L5R for the first time. So there's a little bit of bias here.
If you become a fan of this podcast, and I hope you do, because I really like talking to nobody.
Yeah.
Doug is just here so I have someone to sound my voice off of. So, listen to me talk about it. Yeah. So, as you listen to this podcast, you're going to discover that I hate all of the clans for various reasons. And quite frankly, I'm not going to be quiet about it.
Well, I'm not really...
I hate my own clans for various reasons. They're fictional, and I'm allowed to hate them. I'm not allowed to hate people in real life.
Yeah, I don't mind it. There's effects that remove text from cards. We've already seen an effect like that, a spell that just blanks a person. You can kill personalities. I'm fine with it. They're not getting generally draw advantage, and I'm pretty sure that there's going to be other effects that people are going to print. They're going to be equally as stupid. So, yeah.
Well, I mean,
I think we've kind of talked ad nauseum about this.
Honor is their theme.
Mm-hmm.
Protecting yourself while you gain honor is what they do. And calling it a solitaire deck sounds insulting, but it was impossible to win with a solitaire deck without actually interacting with your opponent.
Yeah.
So it's what you called your opponent's deck after they kicked your butt.
Yeah. Well, I think.
Well, I would have won had you interacted with me in the way I think you should have interacted with me.
Yeah.
Stop whining, people.
Control is a definite part of L5R, and it
Yeah.
always has been. It's whether or not you actually have the ability to do things against it. And in the core mechanics, you have the ability to do things.
Yeah.
You have the ability to dishonor people. You have the ability to take fate off of people. You have the ability to discard cards from their hand.
Yeah.
If you don't like Voice of Honor, run the card that discards two cards from the hand, and then go for an Earth ring. There you go,
Yeah.
three
There,
cards. That
there's ways around it. I'm
mhm.
saying you could build a traditional solitaire deck. I'm not saying it'll secure you a victory like it used to.
Yeah, I don't doubt that will be good, reasonably good. But like
Yeah.
how interactive it is probably the question I think there. So moving on, Doji Hitoru. Like to finish this up, we get our first clan champion in card form.
Yeah.
So yeah, five fake cost, three
Oof.
unique, five fake cost, three military skill, six political skill, Bushi champion, three glory. She has a reaction after you claim a ring during a political conflict in which this character is participating. Resolve that ring's effect. So she could basically resolve if she's attacking. She can resolve two claim effects, right? So she can gain like the resolve air twice. If she's defending, she can also resolve the claim effect on a ring as well once, because as defender you don't claim ring effects if you win the battle. So yeah,
Well, I
super.
mean, let's be honest. The champions have always been broken in their own special ways.
Mm-hmm.
I they're supposed to be. It's they're supposed to define the clan. I am really looking forward to playing against her.
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to assassinating her with ninjas. Like hard. I'm really looking forward to blowing up her province before she has the chance to come out. Because five fate, I don't know how much we're gonna get at the beginning of every round, but five fate does not sound cheap.
Yeah, it's a big investment, for sure. And then you're gonna want to put fate on her because you don't want her to stick around
Yeah,
just for the turn.
you're gonna blow your entire wad just bringing her into play, most likely.
Yeah, but she definitely has an impact. I see her as kind of the end game personality to bring out. When you're at
Mhm.
20 or 21 honor and you just need that final push, to win win an air victory and you get 4 honor. You know, I
Well, I mean,
win my stupid dance.
if I'm remembering the rules right, you can have multiple copies of her in your deck. You can only have one in play at a time.
Yeah. So has the thing. It's like you can bring her out in the early game, she can go away, and then come back in
Mhm.
the late game. I don't know, but that's a lot of fate over a course of a game that you're spending into one personality essentially twice. But so yeah, it's interesting. She's definitely I was a little worried because when L5R first came out, right in the L5R has already had this like horrible history. AEG was never really able to quite balance clan champions. In my opinion, they were like for a long time, like nobody put them in there unless they were like crab. They put Casada in there or something. But
Well, I mean,
yeah, well,
of course.
Casada was cheap. That was what it was.
No,
He was
no, he
within.
wasn't.
He
He was
was
like
within.
16 gold,
Well, the first one was 12. I thought wasn't it
maybe
12?
14. No, he was like 14 or 16 gold. Because
Yeah.
I just went back and looked at my old cards a couple days ago.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
He was like 14, 16 gold, somewhere in that range.
Yeah.
8 force, 4 chi, double chi. What made him broken was that him and his units couldn't be attacked by Shigenja spells or innate abilities.
Yeah. But yeah,
So he was worth the money when you were going up against high magic opponents.
he was the only one that I saw play, at least in my group.
But
I was kind of close. But like that's the thing, most of them were
back, I
ridiculously
mean,
expensive, so they never saw play, right? Because the game was just too fast. Or they became insanely broken, like Haidakuan or Chagatai, or I can't pronounce his name, Chag's
well,
XP4. So
back
now
when
that they have this character, right, you can play her, see her have play. She's reasonably powerful for what she should be. And
well,
I'm just glad to see that clan champions will be played and they're not overwhelmingly broken.
I was able to get Casada almost every game simply because I was playing a very slow, methodical build-up crab deck.
Mhm.
I think that's why you saw the crab heroes more often than other clans, because crab decks, from what I saw, from how I played them especially, it was a much slower build-up.
Play a
I could
long
I could
game.
stop I could stop a lion speed deck in its tracks simply because I had a crazy province strength, and the few guys I got out had crazy force, and I had crazy defense cards, and eventually you ended up with like province defense with the fortifications and
I mean, I liked my clan champions, but I didn't put a single clan champion in my deck for years.
yeah, the
Years.
Lion Clan champion back then was just
They were
every
garbage.
time. Yeah, well, I
I
got
mean,
my butt kicked by her many times.
I like the theme of her. She was pretty cool. But talking about old cards though, like I like the
Yeah,
short end of it. I'm glad that the clan champion isn't like nerfed or it's a reasonably powerful
she's
person.
she's useful.
Yeah.
She's definitely useful.
Hmm.
I don't I don't see a reason why you wouldn't field her.
Yeah. So.
5 fate. I don't know how much fate you're going to get every turn. 5 fate could be crazy expensive. That could be your entire turn.
Mhm.
I don't know. I've yet to see a card that tells me how much fate you get.
Well, the strongholds give us 7 fate every turn, and they've said that they're
Oh,
not keen on printing direct economy effects because they don't want the game to turn into, people draw into their economy and win. You
yeah,
know, so you're gonna expect around 7 fate. You may be able to put extra fate on her when she enters play through another card effect or something, but those will be other card effects, right? But you'll also be able to save fate through from turn to turn too, which is
yeah,
different. So you may be able to save up for her and afford her if you really want to keep her in play. But if investing too much fate in her also may be kind of a reliability to a degree. So I think it's interesting. Like it's going to be interesting to see the role that she fills. She's definitely going to be in decks, because she's just too good not to include in a deck. I think. Yeah. So okay. That's the previews. I'll be going into a full like card by card analysis. We just kind of want to discuss the themes and generally how the themes and mechanics are kind of shaping up with Crane. And I think you're right. They definitely are Crane cards.
yeah.
So
There's no way around that. That's definitely Crane Clan.
I'm going to be banging my head against the wall probably for a long, long time against this clan. So, all right, let's go on to our
I
next.
plan on I plan on making every Crane player I find from here until now cry into their sleeping pillows. That's a plan I'm never going to succeed at because as much as I love the game, I'm not that good.
Yeah. Okay, so let's go ahead and go to our second topic. Go on one second. Sorry, it's too hot out not to take a drink. All right, so our second topic, or primary topic for the night, uh, is why players coming to L5R for the first time, or maybe looking at not undecided about what clan they should play, um, have to look forward to in playing the Crane, or why they should choose the Crane. Um, and I think it's really difficult, where to start. So where do we start with this? We have the story behind the Crane, why people are attracted to the story of Crane, and what type of play style, right? So,
Well, whenever I try to sell this card game to my friends,
mhm,
I almost never. I'll give them a brief 1 minute synopsis on each clan, but I always end with, but you need to play this clan because it fits your personality. I know the way you are in your real life, in your daily life, and this is the clan that best suits
mm,
you in real life.
Okay.
And I've always discovered that if you take the clan that best suits your real personality,
Mhm.
you're going to have a better chance of taking the cards available to you and figuring out how to use them in a game. Simply because it's just easier to go with your own type.
Mhm. So.
So if you're an arrogant, self-obsessed, high and mighty, um, uh, and you don't want to play lion, I recommend the crane. Um, but no, I mean they're a control deck. Do you like control? But
Mhm.
unlike other games where you have control decks, most control decks, like you got the Mother May I Blue decks from the other card game.
But yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and you have the you've got other control factions in other games.
Mhm.
Almost every time you see a control faction, you're coming at from a point of either quote unquote evil,
Mhm.
faction, or rude. Quite in my best opinion is like just straight up rude decks. I hate playing against them because they're just you sit down to play a friendly
Mhm.
game and the person just every card you do they're like no 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 no. Crane is like one of the few control factions I've seen where you can sit down and play a
Back and
a good
forth. Like.
a good faction. Like just from a storyline perspective, they are a honorable good faction as
Mhm.
opposed to a dishonorable evil faction. Um, so if you want to play a control deck, but
Mhm.
also want to play a more light-sided theme,
Mhm.
this is the way to go.
Well, I think even above and beyond that, like control, even as we're seeing in these cards, outside of the counterspell, I should say, uh, the control definitely still maintains that quality of there's a give and take. It's a decision. It's not an easy decision. I think control in other games is just like you play this effect, and no matter what instance or scenario that you're playing this effect, it's good.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So I think there's a lot more decision points, is a word I hear being tossed around. But also, I think as far as aesthetic personality, speaking to what you were talking about, I think people who generally appreciate aesthetic in a genuine way, like artistry or maybe elegance, uh, personality. People who appreciate those from a personality. Somebody in the chat actually, Trevor in the chat actually says that he likes Crane because he likes the Bishonen archetype in anime and manga. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I don't watch anime or manga, so I'm not a. I don't quite know what he's speaking to there. But so if you like a certain aesthetic, that the Crane remind you of, is another reason maybe of why you might
Yeah.
want to choose to play Crane. I think Crane's control style, going back to the control point though, is more of a passive control. It's more of a threat. Like if you do this, I'm going to punish you.
Well, yeah,
You know.
it's the hidden threat from somebody who is willing to leave you alone if you leave them alone. If you just let me sit here and win the game,
Hmm.
I won't hurt you.
Yeah. I think they're a lot more aggressive.
But if you
Hmm.
if you if you if you become aggressive, if you decide to become the aggressor, I will punish you for your actions.
Hmm.
It is above reproach.
Hmm.
It's what they do.
Yeah, and I think
So
there's.
long as you don't attack me and let me win, we can both go home.
Okay, so the Bishonen archetype apparently is like Sephiroth in Final Fantasy VII. Like that's
Okay.
sort of that sort of aesthetic. Okay, I could kind of see that, right? As a reason. I think Crane.
See, I have a hard time selling the crane. I
Mhm.
mean, I want to sell this game to everybody because
Mhm.
it's a great game. Well, I hope it's a great game.
Mhm.
I love the world and I love the story and I love the world building and I'm hoping this game is as great as I want it to be. And I'm going to keep trying to sell it to everybody I want to play this game with until then. But
Mhm.
I have a hard time selling the crane simply because it is
Yeah.
so antithetical to me.
Oh no,
I
I get you. It's difficult. right?
I can sit down and build you a good crane deck if you give me enough time and I have time to think about it. But even if somebody handed me a championship crane deck that won championships and then showed me how to use it and walked me through the
Hmm.
processes, I think I'd still lose
Yeah, yeah, because your play style is antithetical, like to the way
because
because you don't play the same way. You play defensive,
yeah,
like Crane definitely are defensive, right? And you are like from the playing your Yusuke deck the couple of times I had the chance to play it
yeah,
from back in the day, that was a generally defensive deck, right? But
yeah,
the I think that's one of the things about Crane that so if you're if you not passive, but if you're more of a defensive turtle type character who wants to respond to your enemies, right, or uh, uh, put problems to your enemies in which you make the decision kind of a damned if you do, damned if you don't scenario, right?
yeah,
I think it's also very easy gauge, like I was mentioning at the beginning of the cast, um, a great entry point for players because it's the cultural aesthetic of Rikugan, which in very many ways is the cultural aesthetic of the game, right?
yeah.
Because it's the samurai, the art, the culture, the calligraphy, the poetry, haikus, those sort of things, right? And it's also in gameplay terms fairly. It's kind of like it's not doing any super one thing within their wheelhouse of kind of more of a defensive political style, right? They're not ultra focused, if that makes any sense. Like the lion are swarmy, and the unicorns seem to be very much about blitzing people, and the crab are just going to have ridiculous military skill and be immune to everything. So, um,
Accept their own hubris.
yeah, yeah. It's gonna be interesting to see how in the story they articulate because that's one of the things that Koreans always had to come to grips with is their need to because they're supposed to take care of society, but they're elite, right? Um, they're the elite. They're
Yeah,
the ones who
it's
look.
hard. It's hard to main.
Hmm, go ahead.
It's hard to maintain society and look down on society at the same time.
Yeah, yeah. So
I just don't like. I just don't like the Crane Clan as a personality standpoint, and I have a hard time selling it because of that. And so
yeah.
I'm really torn on this one because I'm looking at the cards and they're good cards. I'm looking at the clan and it's a good clan, and the cards fit the clan really well. And I'm really
Hmm.
looking forward to playing against this deck theme.
Yeah. Okay.
But I can't think of a single way to convince someone to do it,
Yeah.
to play it, without almost.
I would say
Sorry, for
just kind of boiling it down is if you enjoy the aesthetics, the artistry of Rikugan, and you're interested in a more passive control type of strategy, right, that puts decisions to your opponents, then
Mhm.
Crane might be for you, right?
Yeah.
Because I think
If you if
good.
you're a fan of art and culture and people who try to make the world a more beautiful place, if you are a fan of the type of higher echelon of the Japanese culture,
Hmm.
this is the clan for you. This is definitely the way you should go. And don't let me mocking this clan or me having issues with this clan in any way stop somebody from going, this is perfect for me. Because quite frankly, I want people to play this clan.
I don't think
I
anybody
need
has a
people to,
problem mocking you.
yeah, no problem. But I need people playing the Crane Clan because I want the Crane Clan to have a good story. I want the Crane Clan to
Yeah.
have a good theme. Um, because they're essential to Rokugan and they need to have the aesthetics along with it.
Hmm.
Um, back in the early days of the AEG, the Crane Clan got terrible storylines and terrible. They got wrecked
Yeah, they had tragedy for sure, right? A
It
lot
was
of
it was
tragedy.
it was a hard clan for new players to play. It required a higher level of skill than most people had
Hmm.
achieved at this point,
Oh, okay. Gameplay wise.
and they got wrecked in the early tournaments. If my memory is serving me, I could be completely wrong. If somebody wants to correct me, feel free.
Yeah.
But they just got wrecked in the storyline because of it.
Hmm.
The crab were invading this, that, and the other thing. They weren't doing well, and I don't want that to happen again.
Yeah. I don't think that's going to be an issue because the clan plays you play your cards and they do what they're supposed to do. And like I know that sounds redundant, but like in a lot of games like Scorpion, I completely anticipate Scorpion having you have to play a bunch of different effects before this one card does what it's actually supposed to do. You
Hmm.
know, like so, and but the crane doesn't seem to be like that. It's just like if you have honored guys, if you're doing what
Yeah.
you're supposed to be doing, which is honoring your guys, then you kind of have those effects. You know, you kind of are winning, right? You know, and obviously there's decisions that are made, but I think like for that reason, it's a little bit more accessible. It's not as high skill. There it certainly is going to be excellent crane players who are going to be waves better than me and better in the game. There's going to be a high skill to the game, I think, especially when you're considering honor
Oh,
versus dishonor. Um,
I am very certain that at some point in the next 6 months, there's going to be a crane player that's going to make me eat everything I've said.
yeah, yeah.
I look forward to that, by the way. I look forward to having that match.
Mm.
I also look forward to meeting you in the parking lot afterwards
Okay.
for a handshake.
Okay.
For a handshake
Yeah,
with my
you
fist.
gotta hug it out, bro.
Yeah, we're going to hug it out, bro.
Okay.
Do you even duel, bro?
Yeah. Okay. So, I think that pretty much sums it up. This is a kind of a difficult one because we tried to get our local resident crane player on here, but he was working, so he couldn't make it, obviously. Um, but I hope that we've maybe helped inform people who are looking at the crane and maybe thinking about, well, why should I play this? You know, maybe they'll take a second look at them. Or you can also, I'm going to give a shout out here to Home of the Crane Clan to go visit the forums and have people who actually are a lot more knowledgeable and might be able to do a better job than we did, maybe.
Yeah. And again, the that little email contest I put out there earlier. Send me your email. Why should somebody play Crane? I want to hear your opinions and your thoughts.
Yeah.
And like I said, the letter I like the most, and I'm going to try and be, I will be as unbiased as I possibly can. I will pick the letter that
Hmm.
says to me why someone should play the Crane. Use any logic you want, use any argument you want, whatever you want to do it. I will find the argument that I find the best, and we will make a video out of it, and we will cite you in any way that you want.
Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, you know,
Right in.
lion, dragon, crab, whatever you want to do. But for right now, give me some. Convince me to play Crane.
Yeah. There you go. Convince him to play crane. It's gonna be hard.
It's feel free to try. But that's what I'm looking for, people. I want your thoughts from the experienced players. Convince a new player. Convince me. Convince whoever you want
Yeah.
that Crane is the perfect clan to start the game with.
Yeah. So but yeah, we actually have the owner of the crane, the home of the crane clan.com forums in the chat tonight. So that's pretty
Oh
cool.
wow.
Yeah, yeah. So there
Well,
you go.
hopefully he forgives me for the things I've said.
You're never getting approved.
I don't think I've ever asked to join.
I
It's
know
okay.
we need you to get on there to post weekly advertisements though. I
Mhm.
didn't tell you that, did I? No. It's okay. Well, I think we've kind of come to the end of this segment there. Yeah. So next week, they're probably gonna do. Well, they've already told us in the AMA. They had a Facebook live stream today, and they were talking that next week's gonna be the Lion Clan, and they're probably gonna start with give us a fiction. So yay, Lion! Um,
Yay.
I get to gush.
Yeah. All
Yeah.
right. Well,
And
in that case, good. I will see you all next week, and be good to yourselves out there.
Yeah, so don't forget, you can contact us. You can email us at L5R Destiny Cast to send us those emails. You can send Ginger Juice. What was your email? The email you set up again? Is it
Uh,
the?
the only Ginger Jesus. I had to use the only Ginger Jesus because apparently somebody else is also Ginger Jesus, which means
Okay.
I'm not the only Ginger Jesus, but you just
Okay. Well, there
shut up
you
and
go.
type that in.
Okay.
The
So
only Ginger Jesus at gmail.com.
yeah. Okay. And you can follow us on Facebook at Destiny Has No Secrets. You can Facebook me at L5R Destiny Cast. You can join us on the Discord, which you'll find a link below in the comments. If you're listening to this on SoundCloud.com, you can also find the link below there. And if you're listening to SoundCloud or YouTube or watching us on YouTube, please like and subscribe. And we'll see you next week where we'll be talking about the L5R fiction, the line fiction, and another topic.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Bye
Be good to
bye.
yourselves out there.
Bye bye.
Bye.
All right. Wait, this is also the part where we do this show, so I usually edit right after the bye
All right.
bye. So that's cool.
Well,
So
I'm going to go eat dinner now.
we actually have one person on here still. Yay.
Yay.
Who's still on here? Say your name. Is it Trevor? Is he still watching?
I have no idea.
I don't know.
All right.
Any
All right. Well,
questions?
I'll talk. I will. Not really. I'm just gonna. I'll get a hold of you later this week. We'll go over things.
Okay.
Because, like I said, I got dinner waiting for me.
All right. Night. You take it
All
easy,
right.
man.
All right. Bye.
Oh. Yeah, I was so Trevor, I was gonna advertise today. I actually had to register an account. I was gonna advertise in the Crane Clan thing. I thought it was pretty cool. This was a little bit more difficult of an episode for us to do because neither one. I'm the only one who's actually played Crane decks, right? Because I play every deck when I play for competition. But um, Kevin is very much clan loyal. So, what do you think? Do we help sell the clan? Ooh, the lag on this sucks. So much lag. Okay, yeah, you can find all the links I have in the show notes. Are the contact links that you I was gonna put them on a post like on an update post, so once a week I'll update. Oh yeah, yeah, please do send us a write up. I would love to see definitely. It's difficult because they have a very control is a hard thing for people to get their minds wrapped around. I enjoy playing against and playing control decks. Even though I'm a line player, I really do like that aspect of card games as long as it's done well. What time is it? So yeah. Well, is there anything else that you wanted to ask or to chat about? Oh, like the cell is precision. Are masters of what they lose, but lose diversity. Okay. Yeah, I get that with like if they enter a duel or if they're entering a military challenge, they'll be able to duel thing, they'll do this one thing extremely well. I guess they've kind of shown that here a little bit. It'll be interesting to see how well they represent the perfection. Yeah, he is. Like I I personally like. There's two things that I actually didn't. I should have mentioned actually. Um, the two things that I would be excited for if I was a Crane player or one looking at Crane would be Kakita Toshimoko and motherfucking Daidoji Harriers. The Harriers, because they're badasses. Those are the two things. They're like Kakita Toshimoko is badass, and Harriers are like fucking awesome. Mm-hmm. Messages. Hey, we got 4 people at one point. That's cool. I know. Yeah, I saw that too. Like, I think they're gonna be in the. They're probably not gonna be in the core set though. I think they're probably gonna be end up being in the the dynasty cycle or whatever they're calling it. The dynasty packs when they start releasing them. Yeah, please do. Send us an email. I look forward to it. We're gonna try to package them all together to try to make little videos because we're coming up with content over the week. Cool. Awesome, awesome. All right. Take it easy, guys. Or dude, person. Later.